everyone, and welcome to the first podcast. This is called The Why with DMoore, with yours truly, DMoore. That's me. And today I'm here with a good friend of mine and good, partner that helps me with a lot of things, but it's Ness Jr. So how you going today, Ness?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on the show, Dave.
It's good. First ever podcast. It has been in the making for quite a while, so thank you to all our listeners out there that are tuning in. Settle in and let's get things started. So Ness, let's go through what we want to talk about.
How you want to do this? This is your inaugural podcast, Dave.
Oh man, I'm sweating.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure. I don't know if you can see it. Listeners, you can't see it, but when you show the video. Yeah, look.
This has meant so much to you. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, well, this podcast... Well, I had to come up with some sort of universal subject to talk about. And a lot of things that I'm reading in my personal development, it talks about why people do what they do, the motivation behind things, right? And I find that very fascinating, actually. So with everything that happens in life, there's always a reason why or a purpose driven towards that reason.
Okay. Yeah.
So that... is what this podcast is about. And it's very intriguing. It should get a lot of interest from people out there because people might go, wow, I relate to that person, or I'm like him or her. I really want to, that's, I guess, the purpose and the why we're doing the why. So if that makes sense. So everyone knows me. I'm David Moore, lived in the Northern Territory here since 2001. Moved up here. I won't go too much into my story. You will learn about that, but most of you know me. But I'm here with, of course, Ness, or Ness Jr. as he goes by sometimes. And just tell us a bit about yourself, man.
All right. Well, I'm a Territorian. I'm not born and bred, but I moved here when I was really young from the Philippines. Migrated with my parents. Basically lived here my whole life. My mum, she moved down to Melbourne when I was a teenager, so she was there for a few years, and I was thinking about moving to Melbourne, but I don't think over the years I've just come to love Darwin. There's just so many things about it that I never really want to leave.
It's so different, isn't it, to other places in Australia? I guess it has its own uniqueness.
Yeah.
I found that too, and that's why I haven't left. Because there's so many things here, so much uniqueness to the territory. So
yeah, well, I don't know if it's my age. I don't know if I'm getting older, and as time goes by, you find different things. You find different things that suit to you the most, right? Like it better suits your lifestyle. And earlier on in my life, when I was in my early 20s, I'm 35 now, so I'm getting there. I'm getting over the hill. The sore back. It's all starting to happen, like the weird knee anyway, age. But, when I was younger, when I was 20, 21, a lot of my mates were in Melbourne, Brisbane. I miss them a lot, those cities, as big as city lifestyles, a lot of the vibes, nightlife, food, a lot of that was missing in Darwin when we were younger, right? A lot of that was missing. But there seems to be this renaissance, this uplifting over the last few years of culture, food. There's a Luxor Festival just last night, the Mango Festival. Right. There's all these cool little pubs and cafes and eateries and stuff popping up. There's art. Like the city looks amazing these days with they've converted a lot of the empty spaces and the empty walls with graffiti art and
murals and all that.
So the whole place, it might not be as packed as other places, but there's just so much to do. And 10 minutes out, you can go fishing in the harbour. Half an hour out, you can, rock up to Dundee or go out fishing in different places or go camping in the national parks. There's just so much to do.
There's definitely something to do for everyone here, I think. We do...
Esports.
Yeah, well, esports, right. We've got that. If those that know me, they know that I run Next Tier Gaming and Esports. Ness actually helps me a lot with that. We'll try not to talk about that too much on this podcast because we will be talking here all day if we do, as well as entertainment, things like karaoke and other events that are run. Very exciting stuff, but always something to do in Darwin, and there's such a growing community with
just
it.
Amazing. Just an amazing place, yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, I guess Ness, with the why and all that that you're involved in, obviously you do help out with esports a lot, but you're more of I guess, a community builder. You like building community. You like, I guess that sort of helps with your role too at work as well. But if you want to, yeah, elaborate on that a bit, why you're driven to be a part of esports and building community and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I've never seen myself as intentionally a community builder, but I guess indirectly from the things that I do, I've ended up building communities. So,
Yeah, right.
like, without going into too much detail, I think it's my desire to try to help others. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm benevolent and trying to do good all the time, but if you have some skills that without much effort you can assist a whole bunch of other people,
Yep.
and you can see the fruits of your assistance, you can see the fruits of your labor by the growth of things and by helping one person achieve another thing. I think that's a lot of the stuff that you talk about when you network and you try to assist other people is that flow-on effect of just providing a little good, and that seed just kind of grows.
Yeah, I
and
know what
compounds,
you mean,
right?
Yeah, I definitely can relate there as well. I think it's about that value. You can look at it a whole different ways, but you're giving a service to someone. You're being of service to people, basically, and in turn, you're getting some sort of benefit from that, whether it makes you feel good, whether it, you get some sort of fulfillment from it. I think everyone does things like that to get something. Like there's always something. There's the give. You should give as much as you receive, but also receive as much as you give, basically. So, yeah, you're right. I do it with networking. Anything, I think everything that you do, and this is just might be sound like me quoting and, preaching to the choir sort of thing, but, you should always have a reason why you do something, I guess. If there's no reason behind what you're doing, then you tend to just sort of, well, from my experience, you tend to just fall into this place where nothing's happening. Like
Nothing's happening.
Like nothing. There's no forward or backwards. It's just
Yeah.
not moving, either forwards or backwards.
I think that's where we differ, right? So what I've found in terms of our respective approach, right, is it's not so much, for me, it's not so much is something happening, right? It's like, I think I often find, I look at certain things, whether it's communities or an individual, and I see something, right? I see, that person is good at a particular skill.
Right.
But they could use a little help in a certain area. Or this community is doing amazing stuff in terms of craftsmanship, artwork, or developing unique activities, but they're just not coordinated. And then you sit back and you kind of pull the lens back and you start looking at different bubbles of communities and the overlaps. And you're like, oh, there's esports, there's cosplay. They're all kind of overlapping to some extent because there's a lot of gaming titles that people cosplay, and esports and cosplay and conventions and geek conventions are all kind of synonymous with each other.
They've always gone together, those ones, haven't they?
Yeah. But then again, you keep pulling the lens back, and it's like, now we're talking about pop culture. Now we're looking at cars and Japanese animation and mainstream like pop culture. We're talking about DC now, comics and Marvel and Disney. And then you pull back even further, and now some of the leading esports teams are the leading money earners in respect of sports.
Yeah.
So we're talking about entertainment now.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not so much I'm looking at one thing, I'm like, oh, I want to grow that community. It's like, oh, wow, I can contribute to this potential. And whether or not you get credited for it or whether or not you make any impact, you don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? But you do something and see how it goes.
Yeah, you play your part, I guess. That's, all about that.
Which is, again, like going back to you, is I would never have been in the position to learn about esports, learn about the industry, meet these people in the space. Even just today, we're talking about people like Dylan, Bennett, Larrikin Interactive,
yep,
Gareth, who's doing all of that AR media and all that amazing stuff, and he also is an IP lawyer, so we have commonalities there. Nash. So, we met Nash. I met Nash through esports, and every couple of days he's in my office fixing my system, fixing my ICT stuff, and it's like there's all this interconnection everywhere.
Nash and I actually go way back, and we won't pull him on the show. We'll get you on the show another time, man. But
at some point.
But funny story. Nash was actually a student of mine back when I was teaching. Back when I was teaching martial arts, I used to be a first degree black belt in an art called Tung Sado, and I believe Nash. What belt you got up to? Like orange, brown belt. Brown advanced belt, yeah. So, and I remember this was going back 10 years ago now, but he would have been, 10, 11?
10 years old.
10 years old. And
God, I feel old now.
Yeah, so some fond memories there of Nash. And then he comes along to the gaming lounge one day and we're like, wow. And then he's just been a part of it ever since. So big shout out to our boy Button Nash, which I named him after... he was going crazy on the controller one day, and Button Nash just suited his name. Anyway, we'll get you on the show sometime, Nash. It'd be great to have you.
But yeah, I don't know if it's just because it's Darwin and it's a small place, but it's just a lot of these kind of threads, right, that you don't see. Things don't make sense at the moment.
Yeah.
But you get involved and you do something, and then other things start rolling over and start linking up, right?
Well, I like to think of, and I don't want to talk about myself too much, and this is about you and not me and everything.
Talk about yourself, mate. This is the inaugural. It's not about me. It's about kicking things off.
Yeah, look, I like to be, I'm probably what you would consider, if you were to put me in a category of entrepreneurs, if you will. I don't know if there is such a category, but I'm one of those ones that just shake things up, regardless if
Shaker.
I'm a shaker. If you can tell me to sit still, I won't.
No, definitely not.
I will not sit still. No. I will do something. If it has some sort of emotional attachment, I will do it. Whether I fall on my face and fail, I will do it anyway. I guess a lot of
the bane of my existence.
There is some entrepreneurs out there that I don't look at any other successful entrepreneurs out there and go, they failed 10,000 times, so I'm going to do the same thing. I generally just have the belief. I believe in something and I go for it. That's as simple as I can put it. And it does get me in trouble, yes. I wouldn't recommend doing it on everything. But it also has gotten us to this very point right now. If I didn't take some sort of risk and some sort of, fearlessness in my what I want, where I want to go. You can ask even couples out there that met each other. It sometimes would never have happened if that one person...
He's a matchmaker too.
If one person didn't...
Entrepreneur.
If that one person didn't take the step to talk to that other person, then I guess that wouldn't have happened. It's a similar idea with the way I look at things, So, but there's multiple opportunities coming at one point, and I guess it's about managing as well, and that's something I really rely on Ness and my sister Katie, who helps in the background, and all my volunteers as a bit of leverage to sort of be the backbone of what I'm trying to put forward, whether it be esports, whether it be entertainment. It's all about, I think, having a strong team, a strong influence. You must have a strong influence on others for them to believe in you and where you're going. And then, you have to have a reason. I guess I put that in my little quote that I made up, and have a reason that people want to be a part of. And that's what it's about.
So what's the reason?
So the reason is, it's your reason.
What's your reason?
Well, it depends on what it is. I mean, I run esports and I run entertainment.
Yeah.
But the whole philosophy of, if you want to talk about Next Tier, my brand Next Tier, it's about bringing people together. Like, I like bringing people together and making people feel good in achieving something, in doing something, going to the next tier. That's where this whole Next Tier came from. But yeah, that's pretty much it in its simplest form. It's bringing people together, putting on a show, making people feel good by doing things they like doing. Yeah.
And look, we might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, you did touch on it just a couple of seconds ago, but that personality that you have in terms of going for it is, and I did mention that it's the bane of my existence, but it's also a double-edged sword. It's amazing because some of the opportunities that we've come across would have never happened for it not of your absolute disregard for risk assessment, planning, understanding, right? Probably one of the best examples I can give of that was a couple of weeks out before the major community grants for the wave pool events. A couple of weeks out, have no clue. Have no clue, don't have a risk management plan, don't have a site plan, don't have insurance, don't have the quotes, don't have contractors, have a bit of a, just 2 weeks out from potentially one of the biggest grants you'll ever have, and an idea, and that's what's powering you, right? And then we hustled. So I was like, this guy's going to do this regardless. So
yeah,
let's get it together. And in the span of 48 hours, you just with some structure, and this is what I always talk to you about, but it's obviously not your strength. Your strength is that energy, the excitement, the will, to go. The rails, I have to kind of roll them down while you're going full steam ahead. But when it works, it works. And what happened is you were successful in getting the grant, and you put on 3 amazing wave pool events at the pool, LED screen, speakers, people swimming in the pool, never done before.
Yeah, that was quite an achievement, actually, looking back on it. And yeah, it was, yeah, just so everyone knows, that was a bit of a grant that I obtained through an idea of just, again, bringing people together. And that's exactly what happened there. So,
but that, that's the formula. And it doesn't necessarily make always for calm times, but
no.
I think that's the yin and yang, right? That's a bit of that toing and froing and making things happen regardless and finding a way to make it work, which is...
Yeah, well, the thing is with me, I mean, I'm very usually enthusiastic and very gung-ho when I do things, right? But I think it's actually quoted in one of these shows that we're watching. He says, the brightest flame burns the quickest. So I'm a dinger. Actually,
oh yeah,
I said that out of Arcade.
Yeah, he did.
And I relate to that quote exactly because you put your whole, I guess, your heart into everything, and you put everything into something, and then you are easily burnt out, or you're easily, anxious on something. You get easily, you get pulled down quickly. That's what I'm saying. So you can rise up really. And get really motivated about something, and then get pulled back down if something goes wrong, or you're overthinking something, and that's something I'm still struggling with. I'm working on it, but it just does affect things like planning and all that kind of stuff. So, but like I said, I have a good team. I rely on them, and I also rely on myself for my strengths as well. So.
That's exactly it. It's like we all have our weaknesses, we all have our strengths, and I think that's what makes an effective team, is understanding how to leverage the strengths and understanding the weaknesses and supporting people where they have their weaknesses. And, I'm not the type of guy that's going to have that energy. I'm not going to go out and sell the deal, the proposal. I'm not going to create an environment that makes things attractive to sponsors. I'm not going to do the drive drive-bys and meet the people, meet and greet and talk about the event. And, you know, so I would fail miserably if I tried to do that.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. So it's like there are things where we slot in and we do what we do, right?
I think it's just a matter of, you know, finding something, and this is not advice. This is not general advice to everyone.
Do your own advice. Do your own research.
You should find something in life that you're interested in, and
find something in life.
Try to find something that you're interested in, and that you can, I guess, if you can find a career out of it. That's great. I've managed to do that with karaoke, and in gaming. Two interests of mine that I'm now doing for a living. It'd be great. To see more people do that out there. There's a lot of people out there, I think, that are just, they're not in a good job. They're just they're not happy, and that affects everything. That affects their family life, their relationships, and all that. So if there's any advice I have for people, find something you love, whether it be dancing, singing, or gardening, if that's your thing. I mean, not my thing, but some people do find a thing that they're into, they're passionate about. But find that passion and try to get, we're only for a short time, I always say. So, yeah.
And that's what you've always been about is that you know what you like and you're going to pursue it. So you've dabbled in a few things, you've done a number of different jobs and you're good at sales, but it's never really been what you wanted to do. And even though, and people probably didn't see this, people on the inner circles probably are aware of how difficult and how rocky things got for you in 2018, 2019.
There's a lot of
changes.
You know,
it's very difficult. It was a very difficult phase, and to steadily build, despite your erratic nature and your ups and downs in terms of energy levels, building a very successful entertainment business that supports a very successful community-based esports organization. And, you know, I don't know if people realize, but you do all the work for Next Tier Gaming Esports off the back of your own resources and off sponsorships, and you never make a dime from it, which is what people don't realize is the work that you put in, obviously supported by volunteers and amazing TOs and an amazing team, right? But all of the people around you, including myself, that put in this work is because you're not trying to make money from the scene. You're just trying to grow a scene, which is rare.
Look, I agree, but I also think there's more to it than that. I think there's that, it's about what people get from something, right? People are definitely getting something from being involved in some way. So they're obviously not just doing it because they know I'm not getting anything from it. I mean, I'm sure that's a factor, but there's definitely I've known people such as Lockie that have been involved ever since the first ever event back in 2015.
Yep.
And I always look at someone like that and go, what's why is he still around? Like, what am I doing? I mean, I must be doing something that's they're a part of. And that's really good to know that what we're doing is people are getting something out of it. You know, if they're working for free, such as a volunteer, they're getting some sort of value from it. They're not wasting their time, which is, really good to know.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm sure all of them through the platform that you've created, which is Intel, Next Tier Gaming and Esports, and the communities and sub-communities that kind of have arisen or grown through this whole journey, you know, they all have they can all kind of catapult from it, right? So even just, like, I'm not going to name specific reasons or say that this is the only reason, but obviously you have streamers that have popped up. You have TOs that have gained skills in terms of event organization, streaming, shoutcasting, and your classic example, which is probably the best example that we could give, is your two-time shoutcaster of the year, Jackson Woodward, KDS. He had national employment opportunities to shoutcast for a national league, right, AEL, which he said himself in his speech for this year's awards night, if it wasn't for the opportunities you gave him, he would have never been in a position to take those or have that opportunity. So, you're definitely right. There are aspects where people benefit from being involved.
Yeah,
but I tell
absolutely.
you, if you ever made it so that you're generating some kind of revenue from your ticket sales, from your events, even your end of year event, you're not making any money. This is all for the community. If you turn it around and said, let's crank these numbers up, let's do a predatory marketing campaign and make as many sales as possible, I tell you, these people won't be sticking around.
Probably won't call it predatory. I don't know. That's
Not predatory, then aggressive, hyper aggressive.
yeah. I
Right?
know what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and I'm starting to. What's really been great with entertainment cross NTGE. Next Tier Entertainment's run more as an events-based business. For those that don't know, karaoke events. I've got a team of now 4 hosts that go to various shows and host with me. But what's really interesting also is my ability to now work with venues that want some sort of entertainment service at their venue, whether it be a dancing collaborative event or just karaoke. There's always something. But I'm starting to work with local musicians now to give them a platform. So I'm like a booking agency, if that makes sense now. So I can book various artists to play at a venue. So that's great. So that's expanding. So just a bit of a, don't want to go too much into that, but there's some great things happening with that, which can cross over to NTG as well.
And I didn't I didn't see the vision, remember? A couple of years ago, you were always talking about mashups and there's this crossover and it's like, yeah, whatever, Dave. Like, yeah, good for you, man. Like, but deep down inside,
I remember
like,
that.
I have no clue what this guy's talking about. And now I'm helping you to do your mashup into the underground opium that has
That's amazing.
everything under the sun.
That is crazy. I remember that. I remember that conversation back with you, me, and Ryan. Yeah. You're like, Dave, don't put that. I wanted to.
Dave, keep them separate. Keep them separate. But look, at the end of the day, you developed your entertainment stream, and it's very successful, right? It's so successful that you've managed to get your own premises, your own place, and paid off all your debts, right? And have revenue stream and income that replaced a full-time job. That is not something that everyone can do. To say, I'm going to run a business, I'm going to start it and just do this, and I don't have to work. I don't have to work a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're also in parallel running basically the largest esports organization in Northern Territory, if not Northern Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. And by the way, Ness, I didn't pay Ness to say all this, by the way.
Don't worry, we'll do the transfer.
No, it's
National split,
I'm very humbled to hear all this. I was not expecting this on the first show, but I guess it does give people a bit of a background on who I am as well.
Yeah. Look, this is. Yeah. I don't know what the podcast will be. I don't know what it evolved to.
Yeah.
But this is how we met. This is our connection, and that's the why.
That is the why. Yeah.
It's not. I'm not going to talk about how I came from the Philippines and my experiences in a developing country and how I was bullied in school, because that's not what connected us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good points. I mean? Good points. Yeah. I'm trying to think of where to go now. This has been great.
No, we don't have to go if if you feel like it's wrapping up. Let's wrap up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, all I could say is can't say much. I don't know.
He's lost for words.
I'm lost for words. There's been a lot said in this podcast, this first podcast of the why. But hopefully the listeners out there do get something out of this. It's like, again, wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't something we were trying to give you all out there, like a bit of relatability, or if you wanted to know who the heck I am and who the heck Ness is, like, now you know. You should have a picture now of what we're about. Yeah. And this isn't about, we're not trying to push the brands. We're talking about entertainment and next tier gaming and esports a bit. But, this is just a chat with two people about how they know each other and all that. So it's been good.
Thanks for having me on the show, Dave.
No, thanks for coming,
Congratulations on your inaugural podcast, episode 1. Thank you.
Inaugural. That means first off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't even think
once a year.
I don't even think I'm supposed to say inaugural.
The first one.
Yeah. How
The
would you say
pilot.
it? Is there
It's
a
the
word?
pilot.
Is it the pilot? Yeah, I guess
The
so.
first one.
Happy birthday.
So, yes, we'll be having a lot of range of guests on this show, everyone. So, everyone, like I said, from people like Ness to some people that I know in the dancing scene, in the music scene, even some close partners that I'm dealing some pretty exciting stuff with. And, look forward to having them on the show. But with that being said, I will end it now. Thanks for listening. And this has been The Why with DMoore. See you next time.
Thank you.